Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi attended the events of the 35th Cultural Symposium for the Armed Forces on the occasion of celebrating the Martyrs' Day. President Sisi affirmed that martyrs sacrificed their lives in order to offer peace and safety for all Egyptians. The president also honored a number of the Armed Forces martyrs and their families. More details.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi attended on Wednesday the 35th Cultural Symposium marking the occasion of the Armed Forces celebration of the Martyr and Veterans Day. Many statesmen and officials took part in this symposium, including Councillor Hanafi Kibeli, Speaker of the Parliament, Councillor Abdel Wahab Abdel Razik, President of the Senate, and Mustafa Madbouli, Prime Minister, Lieutenant General First Mohammad Zaki, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of Defense and Military Production, and leaders of the Armed Forces. During the event, President Sisi reiterated the Martyrs' Day is not an occasion to renew sadness, but to honor the sincere sons who sacrificed for the eternal homeland without waiting for a reward in return. The President also added that they offered great sacrifices whose enormous value cannot be properly evaluated except by those who offered to Egypt a martyr or a wounded person, and those who watered the land of this country by their blood and sweat to make it survive with the welfare, peace and prosperity. The head of state asserted that the armed forces and police have implemented a comprehensive operation against terrorism during the past years. He also said that the army and police managed to secure Egypt and its people, narrowing the danger scope and besieging the terrorist elements, as well as killing a large number of them, in addition to their equipment, arms, logistics and support networks. The symposium comes within the framework of the celebrations of Egypt and armed forces on the Day of the Martyr and the Veterans, which coincides with the anniversary of the martyrdom of the Lieutenant General Abdel Manam Riyad, the former Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of War, on the 9th of March 1969. On March 7, the Armed Forces Association of the Veterans and War Victims held a press conference commemorating the Martyr and Veteran Day. The Veterans Association announced the activities of Martyr and Veteran Day for this year, according to a press release issued by the official military spokesperson, Colonel Gharib Abdel Hafiz.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held phone talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday on the latest developments of the Russia-Ukraine crisis. During the phone call, President Sisi stressed on the importance on boosting the diplomatic dialogue and full support for a political settlement to preserve security and stability of the two countries. The President also expressed Egypt's readiness to enhance the political solution through its moves on the bilateral or multi-parties levels. As Sisi reiterated that Egypt is following up the military field developments and the safety of Egyptian expats in Ukraine. The talks also tackled means of fostering bilateral strategic cooperation in various domains through joint developmental projects. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli headed on Wednesday the Cabinet Weekly meeting on social and economic files. Madbouli reviewed the latest economic achievements during the past period despite repercussions of coronavirus pandemic. The Premier reiterated that the world is facing big inflation volume which negatively impacted prices of basic commodities. He said that 35% of Egypt's inflation is a result of the world economic situation. Madbouli added that the government is seeking to curb the impacts of the world inflation, especially in the agriculture sector, and added that the state has sufficient reserves of strategic goods for the coming 4 months. He stressed that Egypt is capable to face any challenges and ease burdens for all citizens and called for rationalizing consumption during the coming period.